Honorable to be with you again on a Thursday, presenting the Dr. Jane Mackenzie Miracle Medicine Live. And we've got a fascinating subject today, and you never stop learning about it. You never stop learning about gut and brain health. They're totally integrated. If there's constipation, there's going to be headaches and brain fog. That's for sure. Infections in the stomach, infections in the brain. So they go absolutely together. And it's a fascinating subject. It's Hippocrates said all disease begins in the gut. And, you know, I'm going to stand with that too. But it's such an interesting space. And when you really do understand what food does for you, and you eat your food as medicine, it takes on a whole new meaning. And I think there's nothing better than being really fit and having a great gut biome and thinking clearly, living productively in all areas of your life. I really think that's one of the ultimates, because if we've got this compost machine, this engine, this gut biome in order working for us, 75% of your immunity sitting here. We've got a fantastic space to ward off infection and be ahead of the game as opposed to be behind the game. And I'm going to share with you today some really horrible diseases. And I'll show you some case studies where people have improved after years and years and years of battling. And, you know, the number one thing was to get the gut microbiome correct, and obviously then the brain. So, you know, an unhappy gut is an unhappy brain. It's going to hit the emotions. So let's start straight away, because I've got quite a few slides to do, and I've got two files to pull in because it ended up being a lot of slides. So here we are today. We're looking at the gut brain from a holistic health point of view. And I'm continuing with my 2026 Health Revolution theme, and also putting self first. And that I started in the beginning of January. And I've got that self-love course as well, which you can register for. And part of healing your gut is putting your gut first. So putting yourself first, and I really, really do believe that. And then when we bring in my HIELO process, reset, restore, rejuvenate, and rejoice, we've really got an iterative process that helps the body move to greater spaces, higher levels of health. So when we're talking about the health revolution, this age of prevention, we're not looking at symptoms. So that was, you know, when I studied pharmacy, and I sat in the classes, and it was all about what are the symptoms, what's the diagnosis, what are the symptoms, what's the diagnosis, and what are we going to give to assist with the symptoms. And that for me wasn't the paradigm I wanted. You know, I was looking more for long-term sustainable health, and I knew inherently that there was a cause. I couldn't keep writing disease of unknown etiology, disease of unknown cause. I couldn't keep writing that. And I think that's where, you know, my striving to find another way, a natural way, the healthy way. And it's taken me to all corners of the earth, and it's taken me to ancient nutrition, and looking into the future forward into nutrition, and looking at people who do eat, who don't eat, the breatharians, and putting all this together and finding some reason within myself. And I think we're all on a scale, and wherever you fit on the scale is perfect for me. I will give you what you're looking for, not what I think you want or what I want. And that's very, very important. But if we don't get to the root cause, we're going to miss the boat here. And very importantly, with the gut brain, we're talking about neurotransmitters, and we're talking about serotonin, dopamine, GABA, PEA, and many others. And guess what? They're produced in the gut by the probiotics, the essential effective microorganisms. So without these in our stomach, we're not going to digest our food. We're not going to have immunity. We're not going to have the serotonin and the dopamine and everything produced. It's absolutely crucial. Plus, they will scavenge and clear the gut. They have natural enzymes which will digest your food, and I'll show you in a moment more and more. This gut health theme is going to cover the whole of April. So I'm going to go through quite a lot of the information today and break it down over the weeks that follow and the days that follow, and give you extra recipes and all nice tidbits about gut and brain health. So yes, it's about the immunity and, that direct link. So the brain connection, they're helping and feeding each other. And I put there, leaky gut to me is a leaky brain, and that really is what happens. And we'll start picking up symptoms of imbalance. You'll feel brain fog, you'll feel anxious, fatigued, not sleeping well, constipation, diarrhea, pain in the stomach, skin disorders, all sorts of weird symptoms creeping in, and you're out of balance. And you either heed the warning immediately, or you wait for the next knock and the next knock and the next knock, and by then you're down the line. And to reverse the process is a palaver. It takes a lot of time. So let's rather heed the body when it speaks to us. And here's just a list that's by no means exhaustive, but malabsorption, that's a huge one. And actually, I'm going to say there's more maldigestion. If you don't have effective microorganisms, a microbiome reset, those probiotics in your gut, you're not going to digest your food, and therefore it's not going to get absorbed. So it's more maldigestion, a malfunction in digestion, and that's why we've got to bring the organisms in. Reflux, your stomach is going to tell you whether it wants that food in you or not. And one of the biggest causes of reflux is actually the food you're eating. So when you stop eating the fried foods, the dairies, the wheats, when we start eating slowly, sitting down when we're eating, focusing on our food, suddenly the reflux goes away. Suddenly the GERD goes away. Can you imagine? And we get hernias and ulcers, and people come with all sorts of things. And they're almost nursing their wound. I've got a hernia. I've got irritable bowel syndrome, SIBO, dysbiosis, leaky gut. The gut-brain connection is messed up. Leaky gut is a terrible thing, because when the food's not digested at the outset, not absorbed, most people absorb 50% of the trolley of food, 50% of the plate in front of them. Imagine. The other 50%, what happens to that? Well, thanks very much. The worms come and help, because that's their job. And then there's going to be fermentation, and those little worms are so happy because they got food on tap every single day. They burrow through the intestinal wall into the blood, and then they go everywhere around the body. The flukes will go everywhere, pancreas, liver. The other worms will go everywhere, and the parasites go with them. So it's absolutely crucial that our digestion is 100%. And the other question then is, what's eating you? So that's the other side of it, and those will be the emotions that are getting to you. What emotions are you not digesting? Why can't you digest the emotion, the fear? I had a lady that's been shouldering childhood wounds since she was 8. She still is. She's now 57. So, we've got to ask ourselves a question: for how much longer are we going to shoulder our childhood experiences? Some of them don't even start in childhood. They started earlier, generations down the line. We can clear this. We use the holistic ancestral orientation, the emotional release of generational patterns that have been passed down. Honorably, respectfully, we clear that. For how much longer are you going to hold on to the sadness, the anxiety, the depression? Do you want to nurse it for your whole life? Do you want to take it into your grave? These are choices you make. The anger, the bitterness, the fear, the greed, the resentment, the hatred. And these are all linked to our emotions. And a holistic practitioner will always look at what the body's saying, what the organs are saying, and get alignment. Root causes, again, well, the fundamental one is processed foods. like I said, heated oil, dairy, wheat, all this fried stuff. Stress, toxins, poor sleep, and then low microbial diversity or none, or very little. So the minute you've got low microbes, you're going to have low serotonin, dopamine, GABA, PEA, low neurotransmitters. Low serotonin, low happiness, sadness. So you can see how it's linked. And then you don't sleep, and then your skin itches, and it just carries on. So the digestion actually starts in the beginning. You will get from the hypothalamus a little bit of a sensation, I need to eat. Your eyes will find the food and see it. The colors, it's already resonating. The body's computer's already getting activated as to what digestive enzymes, etc., going to need to be secreted. Your hands will touch the food often. And then you're going to get the smell and the taste on the tongue. We start chewing 20, 30 times a mouthful. We then start swallowing. When we're chewing, by the way, the starch enzymes start getting secreted already. Swallowing, the food enzyme enters into the stomach. Either the stomach's happy and it's gently produces the chyme, and we get some gentle absorption there, or it stops it and you get reflux. And then it will find its way through to the small intestine through valves and things, more peristaltic movement, more absorption if there's good organisms, and if there's enough raw plant food or slightly steamed plant food, because it brushes against the intestinal wall and encourages digestion. Also, we get butyrates forms, and these will encourage absorption as well. And then finally into the very big, large intestine. And we need this movement to move through. So a baby will suckle or eat and with the peristaltic movements make a poo. And it happens all together. And it should keep happening like that, even with us. So you know the status of your gut by the movements. This is where we bring in the HIELO, because people come in, they've got these illnesses, and I know immediately we need to benchmark, we need to reset, do the live blood analysis, do the quantum readings, find the risk factors, find the root causes, formulate a way to close them, allow the body to heal, to restore, and rejuvenate itself using the 365 Healthy by Choice and signature nutrients, things like infrared saunas, acupunctures, oxygen drips. And then we remeasure again at the end and we rejoice. It's an iterative process. And I'm going to share case studies with you. The results are quick. And I'll never leave out the emotional release, because that's just crucial. So I'm going to show some case studies right now. This is a lady, she came to see me. She was actually referred to me because she was at her wit's end. She'd been everywhere. She'd done everything. She had chronic stomach pain, indigestion, diarrhea, constipation, and it was just going on and on. She couldn't sleep properly. The skin was itchy. And, we're moving on more towards, towards a depressive state. And after 1 week of fixing the gut issues and the rest of her body, the brain, getting herself into homeostasis quickly, there was no pain. She doesn't talk about it anymore. Obviously, I don't ask her. It's gone. The discussion's different. We got to the root cause. We enabled her to heal. And I'm going to show you some of the products that we gave. Similarly, this chap came in really, really overweight. In 3 months, he lost 45 kilos. We got the gut right, and the brain and the rest of the body into homeostasis. We looked at the organs, stress levels, did the holistic ancestral orientation work. He made a decision to eat clean, to feed himself healthy food, get microbiome support. He also introduced things like sauerkraut and fermented natto, seaweeds into his diet. Really different. I get the comment, Jane, this is really on another level. And that's true, because we've forgotten. Our ancestors ate like that. Detoxed himself and he exercised. And look what happened. Unrecognizable, the before and after. And here's another one, severe Lyme's disease. Fixed the stomach, fixed the leaky gut, and slowly but surely the skin started getting better and the parasites left. We used the Parimmune, we used cell oxygen, DMSO, products I'll show you in a moment. And he plowed through and he got there. And, I just honor people who've, put their trust into holistic health and well-being. The results are here for everybody to see. So one of the tricky things with probiotics are prebiotics, because prebiotics are the food for the probiotics. And that word there, inulin, and the fruit FOS and the milk GOS, I've spelt it out at the bottom there. These are saccharides, hard to digest starches, pectins and things like that, leeks, artichokes. I've got a whole list here. Nuts, avo, celeries, all these difficult to digest foods are prebiotics. So there's a missing link if you just take the probiotic. In other words, one thing that shocked me when I went to Hong Kong was the very thin waists of the girls. And these girls were eating rice, white rice for that matter, every single day of their life. But they were eating probiotics too. And the rice was the prebiotic. So the miso that they added, the fermented natto that they ate, the fermented kimchi, it was beautiful because there was already a prebiotic. A banana, the seaweed acted also as a prebiotic. The fermented bamboo shoots, things like that, all were prebiotics. So they got it right. You have to have a look at ancient civilizations, what they've done for 9,000 years or something. You need to have a look and see that it's not a new chapter in someone's, I think, this book. That's really dangerous as far as I'm concerned. And as I said to you, exercise your body, eat clean. Your brain will be clean, and there's no better feeling. You're on top of the world. Oxygenate your body, make sure you're alkaline. There's no better feeling. And just on that note, in the East, let's take the Okinawians. They will eat 11% animal protein in their diet. 3 grams of red meat a month, which is virtually nothing. The rest was chicken and fish. So here is plant-based, carbohydrate-based nutrition that's been there for centuries, thousands of years. And they are active. They don't have a cancer section in their hospital. They are all doing exercise right up until 100, 101. So you don't get more centenarians than you get in Okinawa and the other blue zone places. Let's take our cues. Let's stop looking for the latest fad. And someone's tearing out that chapter of their book and putting a new chapter in and stuff like that. We have got tried and trusted ways to eat. Eat in harmony, eating in balance, making you happy. Food is medicine, and they know this. And there's always a soup. I'm going to show you some examples of what I prepared the other day for people. So we want to always look holistically, plant-based, nutrient-dense, food state, not supplements that have been made in a lab that are synthetic. Synthetic peptides, do me a favor, you're really going to take that and trick your body? No, you're going to take the replica RNA, DNA, 5 naturally occurring peptides. And your body will make whatever it wants for whichever organ that it needs it. So let's not get distracted and follow distorted information. And make sure that we get this healthy heart. Heart, gut, liver, lungs, kidney, skin, lymph, spleen. So here are some of the 365 signature range that are going to pull you through. The microbiome reset, there's over 80 live strains. I'll show you in a moment. You can't get that in nature. This is nature. It's naturally fermented in exactly the clouds that we live in, the plants live in, and the animals live in. It's an absolutely natural brew fermentation process. It happens in nature anyway, but you're not going to get that in any of the foods. By the way, you're not going to get 80 strains plus the substrains. But we want a cross-section, so we do. We eat the various different ones. Zeolite's going to magnetize out the toxins and keep the gut sterile. Remember, the minerals in the zeolite don't get absorbed. They just line the gut and attract all the toxins, the fermentation. We've got a gut cleanse and restore, and I'll show you the nutrients in there. We've got that replica RNA, DNA, which I talked about, the 5 major peptides. Got an integral collagen, because guess what? We need a lot of collagen and a lot of connective tissue in the gut. And the integral collagen is plant-based. We've got our cold-pressed flaxseed oil and our cell oxygen. These are all on sale for March. Go to the on sale page and you'll get your 15% off. It wasn't now, and it happens immediately. And then here we've got, I'm going to do the gut first and then go to the brain. Here you've got a whole lot of unbelievable effects from consuming microbiome reset. Some people take it straight out of the bottle, pour it. Some people will put it in water, and some people will put it even on their food with the salad dressing. It's really up to you. But I've seen amazing results with the reflux, especially within 5-10 minutes. The people have already got relief. It's actually being used at the moment, this live probiotic, for really, really chronic engineered diseases, and with huge success, huge results. The professors are saying these are the ones to use, the live probiotics. So it's going to help with digestion, bowel movements. In fact, today at the health pharmacy, I was told that a lady hadn't gone to the bathroom for 2 weeks. She was as anxious as anything, uncontrollable. And she took the probiotic the day before. And this morning when she was called at 6 o'clock, she'd had a fantastic bowel movement. So look at that. Look how quickly that happened. We're synthesizing vitamin B and K, serotonin, dopamine, GABA, PEA, all the neurotransmitters. Anybody can take it. Any animal can take it. Any plant can take it. And, it's also going to scavenge and keep the gut sterile. Absolute necessity. Here is a picture of my microbiome reset under the microscope. That blue is a natural blue color. Came straight up through the solution. I put it on top of the slide. And look at them. And the interesting thing about effective microorganisms is that they hold their position. A parasite goes all over the microscope screen. Effective microorganism holds its space. It holds its central point. It is unbelievable to watch. And there are rods, and there are round ones, and there are all sorts of shapes. There are all sorts of colors. So can you imagine when you consume that? It's incredible. So that's the dark field on sale. And then, these here you can open up at your leisure and read, the importance of the gut-brain axis and all the different places of the body. First of all, the entire intestine. And, then it's dealing with the brain. It's dealing with the hormonal system. It's dealing with the heart, as I said earlier, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, the bones, the muscles, the skin, the reproductive area, the kidney, and the bladder. So my word, you take a good probiotic and you basically, bringing homeostasis into the entire body. Why? Because we're 90% microbes. Our genetics are 99% microbial. 1% of our genes are ours. So come on. We just have to look at logic and make sense here. And this is my gut cleanse and restore, and it's really beautiful. It's got Cascara sagrada in it as the main detox herb. Very gentle action, but powerful, removes waste, restores the regular bowel movement. It absolutely does that. So that lady that hadn't been, it would be even more beneficial for her to take the gut cleanse with the microbiome reset. And obviously they need the flaxseed oil for it to help with absorption. Suddenly the cell's getting food. Suddenly we're making energy. So let's eat clean and eat correctly. I'm now going to switch to bringing in another slide. Let me just stop this one. And I want to add another presentation in quickly. Let me just load it. Right, that'll be a second or two. So you can see I'm passionate about this area because it is the engine. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep going with the space. And it's an ongoing journey because it's a moving system. It's not like a plant where the microbes stay and they live in the humus and they live in the sticks and amongst the roots and all the rest of it. We have a moving system where we have to inoculate our body virtually daily. And our ancestors knew this. They knew exactly this. And they did it. On the table, there would always be some fermented cheese, some kimchi, some sauerkraut, some miso, some idli, and so on. The farmers knew. They brewed the microbiome reset. They brewed the effective microorganisms. So at the moment, Japan hold the trademark for effective microorganisms. So our brew comes with a certificate of analysis, with the 80 live strains in it. Standard. Fantastic. That's what we need. So let's move on a little bit here to the enzymes after the gut cleanse. Enzymes will come in the fruit more than in the vegetables. Pineapple especially just comes to mind, bromelain. So bear that in mind. There's far more fruit enzymes than there are vegetable enzymes. Vegetables will be higher in minerals than fruit, just to tell you. Not that fruit doesn't have, but I'm saying. So sometimes we are so depleted in the gut that we don't even have the correct enzymes being secreted from the pancreas, because the brain often is clouded. There's coral growing in the brain. The main glands, hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal glands, are calcified. There are no hormones coming out. There's no directive to the pancreas to secrete enzymes. The cholecystokinin hormones not coming out. So we've got to help the body sometimes. And I have naturally occurring, there's 7 major naturally occurring digestive enzymes in the enzyme formula. And it works fantastically. With food, it will digest your food. If you take it not at the same time as food, it will help with metabolism in the body. So you can play around with that, and you can do both actually. I also have one where I've added the betaine. Some people's acid levels in the limbs and the body is so high. I'm talking about the arthritises, the gouts, those all the diseases are acid forming, that we have to bring some acid back into the gut in order to pull the protein and the cellulose apart. So those people will need some betaine, but you don't give that to someone with acid reflux. You're going to fix the reflux first. So we want to reverse the acid in the body to the acid in the stomach, where it needs to be, hydrochloric acid. And then we want to reverse the body to be alkaline and full of oxygen, full of microbes, full of flaxseed oil, full of minerals, almost shilajit, full of replica RNA, protein, peptides. And the reason we need to take the protein peptides today, the building block ones, replica RNA, DNA, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, uracil, is because we don't eat heart and brain like our ancestors used to. And that's very high in those peptides. So, and I said before, don't get caught in the synthetic peptide train. You can if you want, but the choices are yours. We can't trick the body. There's going to be, that will come unstuck somewhere. So again, enzymes are crucial. They live at the interface between potential energy and kinetic energy. And I'm planting seeds. So we got that interface between manifestation, conversion of potential energy into kinetic energy on a physical level. So wow, very, very, very important. My microbiome reset does have the live enzymes. Kombucha has the live enzymes. Kefir has live enzymes, as well as the probiotics. Here's our replica RNA DNA. And you see the same products are appearing everywhere because the body's holistic. It needs to be in harmony, and you almost can't address anything without bringing in the main building blocks. And that's where we get our success. That's where we get our turnaround. Very, very simply. So I talked about that a lot. And in all my previous YouTubes, go to my YouTube channel. I think there's almost 400 educational videos there now. You can put gut at the top. You can put brain at the top in the search bar, and all the PowerPoints all the YouTube, will pop out with the PowerPoint in it. Zeolite's a wonderful one. I spoke about it earlier. And this one will magnetize out the parasites. It's got an octagonal ring, and mine is double activated, means that ring is clear. It's highly magnetic. It's going to grab the toxins as necessary and take them straight out for you, restoring the gut pH, taking heavy metals out, enhancing absorption by reducing the toxic load, and helping the restore leaky gut and prevent leaky gut. All on sale. All right, here's my other darling, the cold pressed flaxseed oil. And we need that for the electrical potential across the cell membranes, and including the lung lining and the gut lining and the genitourinary lining. But let's focus on the gut and the lung and the cells right now. We need an electrical potential. We need minus 95 millivolts to get absorption of food and oxygen, and to let the cell release the wastes. Without that, cell's not going to function. It is crucial. It is the number one deficiency in cancer people. The number one deficiency. The biggest aggravation is sugar. Let's stick with this. We need it for absorption. You're not going to get that whole trolley load to your cell or the whole plate to your cell if you don't have an electrical potential. The cell membrane must have the right charge. When you look at live blood and all the cells are stuck together, rouleau, there's no charge there. That's what your cells are doing in the rest of your body too. We need that zeta potential. We need the charge. So flaxseed oil in itself is a miracle, especially flaxseed oil, because this is cold pressed, and it's got the highest amount of ALA out of all the oils. In fact, fish oil doesn't have ALA. Flaxseed oil, because it's got live enzymes, if it's cold pressed, will produce DHA and EPA on its own from the ALA. So it's assisting with gut motility. It's going to assist with constipation big time. It's got, as I said, it's electron rich. It's going to charge the body, and it just moisturizes that gut lining. It's just smooth, like a chia seed, like a goji berry, like a slippery elm. You've got a gut cleanse and restore box as well. This is good value, very good value. The probiotic, I've got a parastop there for parasites, and the enzymes and the gut cleanse. So that lady that I spoke to you about earlier, this would be a fantastic start for her. Absolutely fantastic. I would add probably the oxygen to be taken at a different time. So now we're going to move more onto now the brain start of things. So we also want to bring in the brain. Now, the interesting thing about the brain is, yes, it does need sugar, but it does not need the short-chain sweet sugars. It needs the long-chain sugars that you find in all the medicinal mushrooms, all the algae, the pollen, the propolis, the raw jellies, the long-chain non-sweet sugars. So I've formulated the brain fuel and the stress defense shield with over 30 nutrients with that in mind. So you're going to find everything I've just spoken about, plus aromatase inhibitors, which block xenoestrogens binding to receptor sites, which are cancer forming. It's also got the kelp in it. It's also, which is fat burning, but nutrients, adaptogens, as I said, it's based on raw cacao. It's got hemp seed protein. And just to remind you that chlorophyll, chlorella and bee pollen will also produce RNA, which will also produce the 5 major peptides for you. And so we've got the chlorella in there. So it really is an all-in. Taken with the probiotic, with enzymes if you need it in the beginning because you're weak, with the flaxseed oil, with the parastop, para-immune, cell oxygen. You've got a recipe for success here. These here, I don't live without. I'm going to share some recipes with you in a moment because there's so many things you can do. And instead of buying 30 packets, and we've also got it in a capsule form for those of you who don't have time for smoothies. But this is fast food, less than a minute. It's a tablespoon. I'll show you the recipe in a moment. So it's also got the stress adaptogens in there. Mushroom mix, bean mix, algae mix. Mucuna is the plant that grows with the cacao plant in the forest. It's the anti-stimulant. The cacao is the stimulant. It's food. It's got your neurotransmitters. Over and above, and while we're waiting for the gut microorganisms to find their habitat there and start producing their colonies, we can bring in the mucuna and kickstart the naturally the neurotransmitters. And you've got happiness. Always looking for happiness. So these are my big ones for the brain. Obviously the gut, obviously every single cell as well. Memory starts coming back. The old people that take the brain fuel, the stress defense shield, and let's say the decalci-X chunkipiedra start clearing away the coral, that memory comes back. The thyroid hormone starts secreting, testosterone starts getting secreted. The pancreas starts secreting enzymes, hormones, and it's just beautiful to watch. Absolutely beautiful to watch. So here's the second brain. Results you can expect. You saw some of them. You can see what we're talking with. And when you're like this, you want to exercise more. You want to be with happy people. You want to go outside in the sun. It draws you out there. And it's a catch-22 because you're just multiplying your health every day, boosting your immunity, enhancing your mood. The digestion is a dream. Let's see how we can do this with some nice foods and things. So we're looking at longevity. That is the age of prevention, and with the 2026 health revolution. So fermented foods, I've mentioned many, we can't do without them. And throughout the month, I'm going to be giving you, as I said, examples of how to make your sauerkraut, how to make your natto fermented natto, how to make your miso, how to make your idli. Seaweeds, crucial for digestion and food. You will find that the Okinawians eat grams of seaweed every day, fresh out of the sea even. Grams of it, literally. Crucial. Microgreens, essential. That's when you grow the little seeds and you cut them off. You leave the root in, but you cut them off. So, I mean, I will have a punnet of those a day. Easily, no problem. And I'm getting all the building block proteins. And sprouts are going to do the same thing. The building block amino acids. Organic seeds and nuts. High energy foods. Whole grain pseudo cereals. So what are we talking about with grains here? For me, I'm going to look at brown rice and barley in particular. Wheat's very hybridized, too hybridized, and it gets a fungus, and so does rye. I would always wash the grains in the cell oxygen drops. I don't put anything in my mouth. Even if I buy microgreens, sprouts, I will wash all of it. And then soak it overnight. The pseudo cereals, what are these? These are actually seeds. Buckwheat, quinoa, millet, sorghum. So those that are on that track about carbohydrates and they're sedentary and their body's not tolerating the carb at the moment, those are great go-tos. In fact, buckwheat will clear out your cholesterol for you. They're high in antioxidants. These seeds, these pseudo cereals know what they're doing in the body. Highly crucial. But these are really foods for longevity. Here's a meal that I prepared the other day, and I've given some options now. Some of you will have seen it because I did post it on the WhatsApp. But and someone was asking me for recipes. I don't really have a recipe book because I eat how I feel at the time. And that's more towards intuitive eating than a program. Don't ever ask me to write a program for you what to eat, because I'm not you. I don't know what your eyes are looking for. I don't know what your cells are looking for. And one day it might be something that's in an egg. The next day it might be something that's in a piece of fish. The next day it might be something that's in a piece of seaweed or a piece of tofu. So I prepare the greens there straight out of my garden. All the different lettuces, basils, corianders, all the herbs come in there. And in there goes my flaxseed oil and my black seed oil. A tablespoon of flaxseed and a teaspoon of black seed. And then I prepare the fermented nattokinase, full of vitamin K, but full of organisms for digestion. I'll either put in there, or maybe the fermented bamboo or wild mushrooms. I'll put soy sauce, lemon juice, onions, and I'll mix all of that up as kind of like a sauce thing. And I'll put my microgreens and my sprouts in that bowl. And then here was the very quickly prepared, doesn't take long, the buckwheat with the wakame and the sunflower seeds. So I've just about mentioned everything, and I've given options as well. This is an example of a meal where I'm bringing in those oligosaccharides, the prebiotics. I'm bringing in the seaweeds, the buckwheat, all the prebiotics. The meso went in with the nattokinase there as well. So I brought in the fermentation foods there. Another day I'll bring in sauerkraut and just see how I go with all of that. But I wanted to give you a visual, an idea of what you can do and how delicious this is. And you don't need a lot. And you can go for ages after this. Follow the Eastern rule about eating to 80% full. You get up and you're still that little 20% hungry. And remember, it takes 20 minutes for your brain to reach a point of being able to measure satiety, fullness. So if you've eaten your whole meal in 15 minutes, well, you haven't waited for the brain to tell you you've had enough. So the slower we eat, the better. The more we chew, the better, because you're increasing the surface area of the food. And by doing that, you're helping the saliva digestion in the mouth and the rest of the digestion in the stomach. You're helping absorption and you're reducing fermentation. So very, very important. And I want to eat food that makes me feel alive, that gives me energy. I don't want to eat food that takes energy from me. In other words, I'm so tired of eating that whole big meal that I need to go and sleep. I want to get up and be able to do things for the next couple of hours. I'm not saying you get up immediately. One does need to relax after they've eaten. The body to get a chance for the pancreas to secrete its enzymes and things. One of the worst things you can do is have coffee with a meal, because a coffee will secrete bicarb, alkalinity into the gut. And that's the last thing the stomach wants, and it really irritates the pancreas. If you have pancreas problems, do definitely never have coffee with your meal, but don't have coffee with your meal anyway, because you're messing up your whole digestion. You're messing up your body's innate computer. And then you're going to have fermentation because the food won't digest properly. Here's something nice. Here's my smoothie, the brain fuel and the stress differential. Remember, there's over 30 nutrients in there. And here I would use a tablespoon of the powder and half a cup of washed berries. I would wash them in the oxygen. Half a cup of almonds, which I've washed and soaked overnight. flaxseed oil here, a tablespoon, half a tablespoon, as you like. Raw coconut oil, perfect as well. Some raw honey. You could add either a cup of kefir, coconut water, spring water, some cool green tea, or any other tea that you have remaining. And you whiz that up and you get going for hours. Absolutely hours. And this is highly addictive because it just tastes so yum. And, if you're detoxifying, you don't want to bring bananas and dates in because they're too sweet. You want to stay with berries. I'm just going to plant that seed for you. Honey is nice because it gets everything to blend so beautifully. And you're not going to put ice in. That's about the worst thing you can do for your stomach. I am going to share with you the rules of the stomach. And, you can, again, check yourself against that. So here's another one, the Budwick mixture. This was Joanna Budwick, who was a pharmacist, a microbiologist, and she did a doctorate in natural science. And she would raise the cancer people off the deathbed when the hospitals called her. And this is what she did. A cup of fresh kefir or low-fat, no-fat cottage cheese to half a cup of flaxseed oil cold pressed. And I've highlighted the products that are 365 Healthy by Choice products here. You blend that up. It becomes into a creamy, yellowy blend. And then the second thing you do, don't put all of this in together. You're not going to get the release there because the sulfur in the cottage cheese or the kefir renders the flaxseed oil water soluble. Imagine. So there is no trace of oil in the blood. It goes straight through to the cells. And then you can add a tablespoon of freshly ground flax seeds, a tablespoon of the brain fuel or the stress defense shield, 30 nutrients. Again, half a cup of washed berries, dates, bananas, half a cup of soaked almonds, half a teaspoon of raw honey, and then you can reblend it or you can fold it in. I quite like folding it in. I like to see my berries and stuff. But the secret here is to do that blend first. Anyway, so you get this rush of oxygen, which is so crucial and important in the degeneration clients, and you get this load of flaxseed oil in. You can even rub it on the skin. You can put it on the inside of the mouth if people are hospitalized or whatever. Absolute necessity. You take something like this, you go for hours. And that's the important thing. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So how are we going to get started here? Well, I think we must understand that a healthy lifestyle is not a trend. It's a journey, 365 days a year. And, we're wanting to think clearly and live productively in all areas of our lives. And I hope that that's what I'm sharing with you and that's what you're taking with you. So let's not delay. We've been through the pros and cons. We've been through the gut and the brain. We've looked at diseases. We've looked at root causes. We've looked at nutrients that are going to come in and nourish and detox the body. Go to the on sale page. The products are there that I've selected, 15% off. Get started now. By delaying things, you're just wasting time. And time is moving so fast. We know we're already well into April. And it's not going to get slower. It's just going to keep speeding up. So I urge you to come and book, get your benchmarking done. Let's do all the nourishment from 365. Let's do the how emotional processes and keep moving quickly. We don't want to take the stuff into the grave. We want to have lived every life to its maximum and give ourselves the best chance with longevity. We don't want to be the oldies like in the old age homes that sleep all day and can't walk and things. I can think of nothing worse than that, respectfully. So what I'm saying is, let's get onto this. Let's get going. Let's not delay. If you've got any other questions you want to ask me, direct message me. And as I said, throughout this month, I'm going to be posting and giving you more and more and more. I've got some more delicious probiotic smoothies that I'll be sharing with you, my berry C, the green alkaline detox, the anti-stress immunity one, and more, and very interesting things. So let's stay with food state, quantum structured, plant-based, nutrient dense. That makes me happy. So have a good time. I'll be back again next week to share the webinar. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep posting the case studies. And if you happen to be somebody who, well, nearly all the clients are case studies, but if you want me to talk about your case study without mentioning names, of course, let me know and I'll do that. All right, go well. And if you've got fabulous recipes and things that you do for gut health, I would love to learn.